Also this week, we've been following tips and tricks on how to stay safe during severe weather. It is Severe Weather Awareness Week, brought to us by our friends over at National Weather Service, Houston, Galveston. Today is flooding, but before we get to today, yesterday was tornado.
Okay.
I know you're a dad.
Right.
I know some children, some students around the area yesterday were going through tornado training at their school. Do you know if you're...
3 of my kids are homeschooled, so they didn't. So their tornado training's me.
Did you do that at home?
We didn't do it at the time.
Okay.
And then my youngest, who does go to school, we didn't talk about it, so I didn't think about it. And I had a school visit yesterday in Santa Fe at Barnett Elementary in Galveston County, and they didn't do it because I was there at the exact same time. So not everybody participates, but there are schools that do tornado drills. And so at that school, when we talked about tornadoes, they were very familiar with what to do if there is a tornado warning and there's a tornado that's headed toward their school. By the way, I don't know if they can get a picture of our socks here. I wore cool socks like you.
Hey, so they're both red, white, and blue.
Yes.
So if you don't know this, Anthony's always ragging on me about not wearing socks.
But we're both wearing cool socks. And also, I didn't realize I didn't have to wear a tie here.
I mean, you can take it all off if you want.
The problem is if I take off the tie, I have to put it back on for the 11 o'clock show. But I like the look, and we match it with ties. Hey, let's talk about flood safety now. Harris County just put out new flood maps, but I want to show you a rudimentary map of the state of Texas, and these are the floodplains. Do you notice anything in particular about us? We all live in a floodplain. You can't escape it. So I know there are certain areas and certain people, and I hear this all the time. My house is never flooded, and it's never going to flood. I will tell you right now, there are people who thought that before Hurricane Harvey, who thought that before the Tax Day flood, who thought that before the Memorial Day flood, who have thought that since Houston became a city going back to the mid-1800s. I want you to realize if it rains heavy enough, for long enough, I promise you, I promise, your home will flood.
Justin and I were talking about this yesterday. Back on January 24th, I was in Austin for a special I was working on. This was the day the tornadoes touched down here in Houston. And neighbors were sending me photos and videos of our street in South 3rd Ward that, we received, well, I don't know how much rain there, but it was insignificant comparatively speaking. But the streets were flooded. Trash cans were floating down the street.
It doesn't take a whole lot to flood here. And I want to show you this map also. And this is the small change in average temperature and what it does to extreme weather events, particularly with the flooding. So it makes extreme flooding more likely. So what you have is this bell curve, and what you have is the average amount of flooding past climate. And then I want to show you what our current climate is because we're warmer now. The current climate is now we get more, not only extreme heat, but we get more extreme flood events. And so you have to realize that we are in a different climate now. And so these flood events are now more likely. I do want to mention a couple of things because it's very important to understand this, and I think this is the most misunderstood thing about flooding. A flood watch. What does that even mean when we say there's a flood watch in our area for tomorrow? It means you got to watch out. Weather conditions are favorable for heavy rain, for flooding. Now, the difference is when you get a flood warning, that means it is happening right now. Now, it may start with a flood advisory, which is just street flooding. But once you get these flood warnings, that means the bayous, the creeks are starting to go up. It means home flooding is also a possibility depending how heavy it is. And you've got to turn around, don't drown. You don't want to be that person. We were showing you the video of those cars that are in there. Sometimes they drive in there. Sometimes you get stuck. And then this is what happens to your vehicle. But when you see this, I bet this is an example of a car that gets stuck there. But there are other times you just drive, you're like, oh, that looks like it's only about 4 inches deep, and then your car floods out. This is obviously a different example here. This would be, I have a feeling.
Was this along Memorial during Harvey?
I have a feeling, yes. And so your car is there. There's nothing you can do at that point. You really have to prepare, like, where can I park my car that this doesn't happen?
But as you were saying, too, keep in mind, it doesn't take a whole heck of a lot of water, standing water, to take your car away.
And here's something that you need to know. We have a partnership with the Harris County Flood Control District, and so we're able to monitor this for you. It only takes 2 inches an hour to get street flooding. 2 inches an hour for your car. If it gets 2 inches an hour for there to be a foot of rain, a foot of water on the roadways, and if you get that and your car stalls out and you get water in the engine, and you have an old car, it's $2,000 to $4,000 to fix. That's an old vehicle. But we're able to monitor this for you. So obviously it's a dry day, so you see 0, we're in the green, no threat of any kind of flooding whatsoever. And we want you to know, I know if you're watching from a desktop, you can scan here to get our flood alerts in real time. If you're watching on your phone, well, you can go to click2houston.com/flood tracker, and you can download our app. And so you'll get real-time flood conditions, get alert of floodings happening in your immediate area, flood gauges, stream status, and rainfall, because this is really key, the stream status. Our streets we're so flat, we're meant to flood. And you got to be smart, you got to stay out of those areas if you don't know how deep it is. The issue is if it gets heavy enough, then you can start to have it potentially in your homes, and we want to make sure you're aware of what's going on. So flood watch, possible, warning it's happening right now, and then we're here to tell you how bad it's going to be.
And then the emergency, of course. I know on sides of some of the highways, you have the measurements here in Houston. New to me when I moved here, I was like, what are those for?
Well,
it's to gauge the water.
Right, and I was mentioning how flat we are, but there's areas that go down.
The dips.
And those are the dips. And you're like, okay, well, my car is like 8 feet now under sea level, and
you get under an overpass, you're not coming back up.
Yeah.
Okay, so in addition to all these resources, the National Weather Service has been tweeting all kinds of helpful information throughout the week about severe weather. Right now, they might have tweeted, 17 minutes ago, day 4 of severe weather week. We'll focus on the very topic we've just been talking about, flooding and flash flooding. So follow them on Twitter if you haven't already. Also, make sure to follow or download our app if you haven't already. You can find all of that information on our website, click2houston.com.